So as promised in the last video, we're doing a little bit different today. Today, we are at Mike Ashworth, shop of Hippery. Hippery.
That'll work.
It's Hippery in here. But to stay true to the channel, we're gonna do some. We're still gonna talk fishing, while Mike pokes 7 needles at a time.
It's gonna be more than that.
How many, Mike?
Probably 13.
13 needles in one piece, right? So to give you an idea, those little thin lines are
Those are 7s.
those are 7 needles. Now today we're putting color in it, and he said there's 68 needles in that.
No.
Can I touch it?
13.
I'm gonna touch it. There's 13 in here. Oh.
Okay, well now we gotta replace that.
Okay, so we can have this one now. Are these expensive?
No, they're like $3.
Okay, $3. I threw $3 on the ground. Oh, goodness gracious. 13 pieces. 13 pieces of pleasure going into my muscular and defined arm. It is. And we're going to talk about fishing. We're going to talk about I got a new favorite lure for trout fishing. I'm known for quirky fat boys.
It was my favorite for a long time.
Mike says it was his favorite for a long time, but after using nothing but them for several days in a row, I got a new thing to talk about. You ever feel like your buddy has 37-pound hands? If you haven't, do this. Feels so good. All right, so I said we're doing something different. We're doing something different. I'm not in the studio, but we're still gonna talk some fishing. We're talk some fishing. I had a. It's not an epitome. What's the word I'm looking for? Epiphany.
Yes.
I don't even know what an epiphany is, but I had one of those. I spent several days fishing. I threw a lot of the fat boys, which is the thing that I like to throw and the thing that I'm kind of known to throw. But grab something different. And honestly, and it's not the first time I've used them by any means, but after using them, I got to thinking to myself, I was like, man, there's a lot of people that want to get started throwing quirkies and throwing something different. And this one, I don't have to bend the tail, I don't have to bend the nose, just tie it on, throw it, walk the dog, twitch, 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 and it just catches fish. That lure is the Softine XL. Not to be confused with the Softine. I'm still not a fan of the Softine. In the springtime when the bait's tiny, yeah, I'll use a Softine, but to be honest, that time of year, I'd rather use a Miradyne because it's harder and it doesn't get torn up. The bad thing about these, the negative on these is, man, they get tore up easy. I went through like 4 in a day, and they're not cheap. I stole this from my customers, so thank you, Caleb Cavazos, for this one. I meant to give it back to you when we got back to the dock. The ones that I tore up, however, those belong to me. Either that or I stole them out of Pat Gardner's boat. I'm pretty bad about stealing stuff out of Pat's boat. If y'all have ever seen Star Wars, whenever Luke lands on the little island, the little planet that Yoda lives on, there's a scene in there where he looks over and Yoda, who he hasn't met yet, is in his ship and he's just going through everything and there's stuff's flying out while he's digging through everything. That's how I look in Pat's boat. I've been doing a lot of red fishing lately, so I don't have a lot of trout stuff. Pat has a lot of trout stuff. Well, he had a lot of trout stuff. He doesn't have quite as much anymore. He's running a little bit short on it. But the Softine, it's great. And I'm doing all this one-handed right now because my other one's pretty tied up. It's kind of painful.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm trying to record a video here, Mike. A little bit of consideration, please.
Oh, well, in that case.
Yeah. But they're, like I said, they're really cool. You don't have to bend the tail down, don't have to bend the nose down. You can just tie this sucker on and let it fly. And I actually cut this one off of my rod. It's the one I used yesterday. And I used the leader with a little loop knot in it. I have a video that is how to tie this knot. Great little knot, great thing to use. And I happen to know it might be a secret. It might be Pat's secret, but he likes those Softines. Don't tell him I said that. Don't tell him I said that. Mike likes these Softines quite a bit. In fact, the one I'm showing you was one of his favorites. He was super excited to get one last year, and then to get another one, and to get another one.
5 total.
Yeah, 5 total.
5 total in 2 weeks.
All right, hey Mike, Do you think you can tell these people a story
Yes.
without screwing up?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm taking my own well-being into account for y'all to hear Mike's story. So Mike got this soft 9. What tell us about the first one, Mike?
Well, I caught a good redfish on the soft dine that destroyed it, and so I went and got another one, and then I went back out and then I caught a enormous stingray. Got video of that, huge, probably 4 foot wide, something like that.
So you bought one the first time.
Yep, redfish destroyed it.
Right. So then you had to drive to Anglers Anonymous.
I got another one.
And you didn't learn your lesson, and you bought one more.
I bought one more.
Because what do they cost? They're not cheap.
15, 16 bucks?
15. See, I don't know this because I just use all the pats.
Yeah.
So you buy one, you spend 15 bucks. You're like, man, this one's pretty. It's gonna work.
Yeah.
You go out and a redfish just eats it.
Destroys it.
Destroys it. I remember getting that text.
Yep.
Both texts actually. You're like, man, look how pretty.
Oh, also, that was the same time that ladyfish destroyed that almost state record ladyfish.
Uh-huh.
That was on that lure too.
Okay, so the first lure,
Yeah.
almost state record ladyfish,
Yep.
and redfish destroy it. Okay, so you buy one more, and what happened to that one?
Probably a 4 foot stingray, huge. Got videos, got pictures of it. Took that one too, and obviously I couldn't get the stingray close to me because I was waiting. I was like 200 yards from the boat, so I ended up having to cut that one off.
So you cut it. Okay. So now you've bought one, lost it. Went back, bought one, lost it.
So then I bought another one. I went back to English, bought another one.
Okay.
So that was the fourth. That was the
And this
fourth.
was like in a matter of like 4 days, right?
4 days. Yeah,
Okay.
4 or 5 days. So then I went and got another one, which I think was either 4th or 5th one.
So then you go back, and in your knowledge and wisdom that you've gained from this, you buy one more.
Yep.
And I learned so much. I learned so much. I learned.
Come on. Come on, man.
I went out. I was waiting. I threw out, and then a Jack Rebel hit it and took off with all my line as well, like everything, every bit. So that lure, and I did a video on this last year. That lure catches everything, every fish you could imagine. In fact, I caught a gap top on it like a few weeks after that. But when I went back to Anglers, I think I bought like 5 or 6. I bought them all. So sorry for those of you that wanted them then.
So it took him a while, but he learned his lesson. It did take him a while. He learned his lesson. What I'd like to hear about a big trout you caught on it, but you caught pretty much everything in the bay you didn't want to catch on
I
it.
did. I caught a 28-inch trout on it last year too. Same lure while I was waiting.
28-inch trout. And so where I really like this one because it's got the pearl on the top. I am a huge fan of anything with pearl on it. Big fan. I like just a straight pearl with a chartreuse back, and that one's not a custom. It's a lot cheaper than these custom ones are. But the thing, I put some videos out on social media of me holding a big trout, and I'm throwing one of these, but I'm throwing in the high cotton color, which is kind of a silvery back. But what I was really paying attention to was the shiny sides, because the pattern that I was trying to fish was it has been cold, and then it was starting to warm up. The sun was out. The water was a pretty nice green on the shoreline. And so I was liking the shiny flash. The shiny flash is really what I was into. I didn't care a whole lot about anything else other than I wanted shiny flash on it. So that's where I went with that high cotton, also out of Pat's boat. And I used it, and I caught, I don't know, 8 or 10 trout on it. The biggest trout I caught was, I didn't measure the length. It was 7.5 pounds. But then a little bitty old redfish. So I posted a picture of a customer holding the fish, like a real pretty trout. Well, the whole story is I was hooked up to a redfish when he caught that fish, and I was trying to get over there to help him land it, so I reeled it in as fast as I could. Didn't really take care of the lure, popped it out of the fish's mouth, threw it back. And what these soft dines will do, because this is Captain Caleb TV, we're going to tell you the whole story. We're going to tell you the good and the bad. What they'll do is, I feel like the wire inside of it gets a twist, and so what they'll do is they'll permanently have this bend in them, and you can twist that wire and straighten it, but then it gets that bend in it. Then you can straighten it out and like, okay, I got it. And you cast it out. When you get it back, it's got this bend. It's like this eternal little pop thing. It's like those, I don't know. But that's the whole story on the lures. They're not very hardy. They don't hold up very good. But they're very easy to work. They're great for advanced fishermen. They're really good for beginners. They cast well and they catch fish. So I'm going to watch Mike do this tattoo for a little bit. Oh, it's worse when you watch. Worse when you watch. You can see that needle going into my soul. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, totally worth it for a skull's cheekbones, right? And that's it for the day. We got the skull colored in there. Really like how Mike put the reflection from the lantern flame on the arms. Eye looks pretty cool too. And give that time to heal up and then come back and work on the other stuff. I think we have one more time in this fight. Two more? Two more. I'm an instant gratification guy, Mike. I want it now.
Right.
But anyway, so 2 birds, 1 stone. Showed y'all some videos. Talked about my new favorite quirky. I'll still throw the Fat Boys, but these Soft 9 XLs, man, they're. And the other thing that I did notice is, like, Pat and I went and fished a tide dump the other day, and I was working that Fat Boy, and it was wearing my arm out because there was so much water and wind going from my back that way, and I was working that heavier lure. These little guys, they cut through the water a lot easier, so it's actually a lot less strain on you throughout the course of the day. What is it?
So they feel like a spoon to me.
Mike,
Into the water.
yeah, I don't really use spoons, so I don't know that, but Mike says they feel like a spoon. Hey, they got a ton of these at Anglers Anonymous. They have custom ones, regular ones, stock ones, all of them. Check them out there. Tell them I sent you, and we will